Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you click on the bell notification so that you get notified of all of our upcoming videos. So he has been an investor for the past 10 years and holds approximately 50 doors, 50 units. And I am excited to get some real nuggets. He invests locally within, is it New York or New Jersey mostly?
New Jersey for the most
part.
New
Jersey, awesome. But I know you're from New York, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the market I learned. And once you have an edge and once you know a market, you really got to hit it hard and continue to do what you're doing.
Right. So I want to hear a little bit of your background. I know we talked a little bit before this recording, before this call. And just give me a little bit background as to how you got started 10 years ago, what you did, and just how you came. I mean, how you got 50 units under your belt.
Sure. So I was a commodities trader at the New York Mercantile Exchange for many years. That business kind of got disrupted. All about disruption. People love disruption. I didn't love disruption at the time, so my job kind of went away. But I had earned some money, over the years that I was doing that. So I was able to invest in real estate starting in around 2009 and 10.
Was that when the market was going up or down?
Down as well. After I bought my house, my personal house, after the market crashed, and then it crashed a little more, but it's fine. Gotcha. You can't always buy the low. So I started buying it around 2009, 2010, investing alongside some friends, and then I went out on my own after a while, and I stayed in the same market. The lessons that I learned over those years, some of them I put in my book, how not to make money in real estate, which I guess we'll talk about later.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And what not to do, what to do. But the bottom line is, I learned a lot over those years, and you always have to keep growing as an investor and growing as a person in this business. And that's how you can make it big, and that's how you get to 50 units into 500 units.
Okay. So today's topic, which I'm actually interested in hearing, is how do you compete in today's, I guess, competitive market like New Jersey, and so I really want to dig in there. But I guess have you always bought and kept the properties, or have you flipped before?
So I started off flipping, and then I think in around, I don't know, after a few years, really, I would say 2013, 2014, I just wasn't getting the returns I wanted flipping, and I certainly wasn't getting the tax benefits, by selling things for short-term capital gains. And I was like, you know what? I think there's a lot of more room to run in this market. I think that the areas that I'm investing in have a lot more room to run.
Mm-hmm.
Let me keep properties and let's see how it goes for a few years. And then I was able to refinance them with 100% or 105% of my money out of a lot of these deals, and then keep doing that and doing the Burr method that everybody loves. It really works. So
let's back up. When you say 100, when you say 105%, can you clarify that?
Yeah, like let's say I bought a house for, I'll give one example. I bought a house for 130.
Okay.
Right? Renovated it for, let's say, 80. So now I'm in for 210. And I was able, so I rented it out, stabilized the building, added a lot of value through those renovations that we did. And then I was able to get and then it appraised for, let's say, 420.
Okay.
And I was able to get out, more than my money, which was.
Gotcha. So basically you were able to get more than what you put into it.
Right, exactly. So now it's just an infinite, return on my money.
But you still have equity on it.
I still have equity on it, and I'm still having cash flow, which is beautiful.
That's awesome. Okay. Right. So let's
hang on for a little bit. Let's not forget that you had to hang on to the property for a year or two to get that appreciation, to let the market do some of the heavy lifting, not just the renovations that I did.
Wait, so before you refinance, do you have to season it, or what they call in the mortgage world, season it before you can refinance?
They wanted 6 months. They wanted 6 months.
They wanted 6 months.
But, that notwithstanding, I needed to get the rents in just so that I can show them that, hey, this is what it yields. You have a DSCR. You have a certain amount of money that I need to make on the property for you to give me that amount of money. So to get there, it took 6 months to a year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's something I don't always calculate.
Right. So then you were able to find lenders that you can trust. And was it backed by your credit, or is it your personal credit, or is it just backed by the asset? And these are personal questions. I'm interested in knowing.
No, it's fine. I mean, they run your credit. I have good credit, but
Yeah.
it's mostly backed by the asset and how much money the property is actually bringing in. I don't know why it's going. But a lot of it comes down to how many deals you've done and the reputation and how confident you seem. I had a lender. I was refinancing a portfolio of 4 properties, and they didn't know much about me. This was a few years ago. I'm young, and they see me come in, and I can't grow a beard. They're like, "Who is this guy?" So they want to know a little bit more about me. So they ask me like all these personal questions. Are you married? Where do you live? And most of all, they wanted to see the kind of jobs that I do. So I had a couple of other projects under construction at the time, and they were like, "Can we go see?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I take them on a tour of these other properties, show them what I'm doing, show them we do everything with permits, show them we do everything correctly, and that gave them the confidence that they needed to make a loan on these other 4 properties that had nothing to do with the 2 that I took them into.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is I mean, so basically they wanted to know your credit, your credentials, and they want to see what you're doing. I mean, making sure that their money is solid, I guess.
They wanted to get to know me, and I think this is something we're going to touch on in a few minutes. Your reputation is very important. What people think about you in this industry is very important. So they hung out with me for a good 3 hours, getting to know me personally, and not just the assets that were under consideration for a loan.
Okay. So let's let's get into how, some of the things that you want to bring up, I guess, mention, and how to compete in today's market in New Jersey. So let's dig in. I mean, do you have I know we didn't plan this ahead of time, but you could go ahead and start off with the top 3 or whatever number that you have.
So yeah, I think that the number 1 thing is what I think buyers need to realize is that it is not 2013 anymore. The strategy of going around making 500 bids, lowball bids on property, especially if they're listed with brokers, like you can maybe get away with it with homeowners who are less educated. But when it comes to dealing with brokers, the idea of going around and making lowball offers at 40, 50% below asking price when the property's been on the market for no time, it doesn't work. It used to work back when they were giving properties away. And if you do that, and this is your first time out there, one of your first times out there, these brokers are going to be like, this guy's not for real. They're going to see your phone number come up. They're going to not pick it up. And you're going to lose a lot of equity with these brokers, and they're not going to take you seriously.
Gotcha.
So you're on the market. If the property doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. You can make an offer as long as it's legitimate and competitive, and you don't get it, that's fine. The broker's still going to work with you, and you're still going to have opportunities to buy another property. But if you lowball them, because they're supposed to submit the offer, and they're going to submit the offer to the seller, and it's just a waste of their time. It's just they're not getting paid to make offers that don't get accepted.
So basically, whether it's a wholesaler or rehabber that's very brand new, just making random offers to agents, that's what you're saying is just making a random, like say 50% of whatever is listed and just making an offer. That's going to ruin your reputation.
Ask yourself, the most you can pay, where the numbers work out for you. Go a little below that so you have room for negotiating, but don't just lop 40% off the asking price. And that's my offer because, again, it's not 2013. That strategy worked great for many years. It doesn't because we're super competitive. It's not, people are into the game. People know what value is these days, and banks aren't giving properties away anymore, neither are homeowners.
Yeah. Now, are you talking about these are just like REO, or we're just talking like generally, properties that are listed on the MLS with agents?
Yeah, I mean, that applies to anything listed with any broker. That applies to single family, small multifamily, large multifamily, especially large multifamily, where, again, like people want to know closers. People want to know that you can close the deal. And we'll get to that next also, is a lot of people present offers that they don't plan on closing on, or they can't close on. They're just hoping maybe they can raise the money. So I think that if you're gonna wholesale or you're gonna syndicate deals, make sure you have the money so that you can perform the way you said you were going to perform. Otherwise, again, you're going to lose a lot of clout in the industry. People talk. People know who's for real. People know who's not for real.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's even though real estate is such a large industry, but when it comes to it, at the end of the day, there's maybe a handful of people that are really actually doing it, and so it's so true.
So what other tips, do you have that you can, to tell our community how to compete, or what can we do to compete?
Well, I have a couple more. First of all, when you go in to look at a property, or you approach a homeowner, or you approach a broker, know all the key terms. A lot of people come in and know how to make an offer, know how the process is going to work. Really educate yourself, because if you go in and you don't know what escrow means, or you don't know, you don't have a title guy yet, you don't have a lawyer yet, it comes off as very unprofessional. And again, that's going to ruin your reputation. It's going to lower your odds of getting a deal. You really have to know. You have to, sell yourself and impress yourself, because if you're competing against a lot of seasoned investors, you better look like a seasoned investor too, and nobody's going to want to talk to you.
Right.
Another thing, and I think this is like something that people don't really talk about, is you're going to lose out on a lot of deals, right? It just does, whether you're on the market or not. If people are bidding above ask, whether they're bidding far above you, and if it makes more sense to them than it does to you at that price, you're going to lose out on a lot of deals. But you need to follow up with the brokers or the homeowners in case that deal falls through, because it does a lot. And I would say I got, I don't know, 3 of my last deals, 3 out of 4 of my last deals off the rebound. I call it the rebound. Basically, somebody makes an offer, they can't perform, or they were never going to perform.
Right.
I'm following up with the broker, and I'm like, did that ever close? Did 123 Spring ever close? And they're like, it's still in contract. It's been dragging on. And then I get a call back in a month, and then I can make another offer. And he wants to deal with me because I have a reputation as a closer. Because when I went to that property, I tell him all the things that I've done. I own a house over there. I own a house over there. And even if you don't, as long as you sound competent and you know all the terms and you know the area, somebody's going to want to do business with you.
Right. Because at the end of the day, you know what? Agents don't make money unless they close, right? Unless somebody closes.
That's right.
Right.
Especially on lower value properties where they're literally going to clear a few $100s for putting in all these offers. It's so much work.
Right.
You really have to be, cognizant of their time and how much they've invested in a given property, and not do something insulting where they're just not going to want to deal with you anymore.
Gotcha. No, that's a good point. But so let me be on the other side, the devil's advocate, and say, well, somebody that's brand new starting, they're very brand new, and they're learning, or they're trying to learn. But at the same time, you can't really learn unless you start taking action and doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, how would you, I guess, what advice would you have to those people that are very new? At what point do you stop learning and actually do something?
So I will say this: getting the first deal done is the hardest. After you've done that, and then you're more familiar with the terms and how things go,
right,
and some of the pitfalls that you'll fall into. There's a snowball effect. Everything starts rolling downhill after that first deal, which is great. But the key is to get that first deal done is educate yourself ready to act, because a lot of people, they think they're ready, and then when it comes down to it and they make an offer and it gets accepted, they didn't have their financing lined up, they didn't have their lawyer, they didn't have anything lined up, they didn't have their due diligence lined up. Then they lose the deal.
Yeah,
that's a heartbreaking feeling, and again, it will also ruin your reputation. So my advice to some of that would be have everything lined up ahead of time. Go through in your head what it's going to look like to do this deal and complete this deal, so that it's not foreign to you when you get an offer accepted.
Right. And I definitely do think that what you said before about the rebound, I guess, and that's basically called follow-up.
It works.
It's so true. I mean, I talk about that every single time with people, and the money is in the follow-up, they call it. That's what
right.
So what other tips you got that you can bestow onto our community? And I guess the other question is, you come online, people might be asking why would Allan come online and to share his, well, to me, it's not really a secret, but I think it's something that we need to emphasize, especially in a competitive market. And these are things you should be doing as part of your business. But I think, what is it? I guess ultimately, what is it for? Why are you, here? I guess ultimately, I don't think I asked you before.
Right. So honestly, I'm here because I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy educating people. I enjoy the give and take with other real estate investors. Even though we're in a competitive market, there's enough deals to go around, and there's enough business in this industry, certainly, and in this region also. for everybody to make money. And like, I don't need to get every deal. I can't do every deal. I enjoy educating people. I enjoy having a conversation with guys like you and other podcasts that I've done. It's something that I do to kind of give back to an industry that's given me a lot in my life.
Right.
So that's kind of why I do. I mean, I also have a book to sell, but again,
yeah,
the
we'll
book is
talk about that book later. I know. I got a book. I have the book. You sent it over to me. But do you have any other tips that you want to, share with us? Do you have 2, 4, 5?
I mean, I just gave you a bunch. I think a lot of it comes down to the mentality of somebody how you approach a deal and how you approach the broker or anybody who's offering that deal, whether it be a homeowner, is you have to understand that it's a little bit of a beauty contest when it comes to you versus 5 other offers. And when it comes to like buying your own personal home, they tell you, oh, write a letter to the homeowner and like tug at their heartstrings. That doesn't work in this business. It's a strict business decision that people are making. But you need to not get yourself counted out right off the bat. So like I said, it's very important to know your stuff, know all your terms, know how the process is going to work. It's important to be on the market. Don't make lowball offers and then ask why brokers aren't picking up your phone calls anymore. And always follow up because you will get a lot of deals that way. Just proving you can close once or twice, getting those first 1 or 2 deals done, it's all downhill from there in a good way.
Right.
Go out there, take action, and the way to do that is to get your first deal by not getting yourself counted out before you can even start.
Gotcha. So just with your background, I guess I wanted to ask you, have you wholesaled or like, I know you did some flips and now you hold mostly rental properties. Have you ever wholesaled before?
I have never wholesaled before. I skipped that. That's step. First of all, it wasn't even a thing when I started. Like, it just wasn't a thing. And I actually bought a wholesaling DVD online for $1 because they sell you these things for $1 that they give me for free, so that in your brain it says like, oh, I'm getting value for my money, even though it's $1. And I was like, and I watched the video and it was like some guy from I don't know, Eastern Europe, and he was like, I made all this money, and I wanted to do it, but I decided that my time personally was better spent building my portfolio. So I was ready. I didn't really need to do that, even though it works for a lot of people, though. It does. But for me, too much talking to people also.
Say that again?
Too much person to person time. I'm not great at that.
Oh, okay. It is. I mean, marketing is a lot. People don't understand wholesaling is a business and it's a lot of work. It's just like rehabbing. And buying rental property is a lot of work. It's a lot of upwork front end. You know what I'm saying? But I think it has a long-term benefit. So let me ask a personal question, I guess, because when you first started buying rental properties or you started getting into it, I'm sure, it's not like one rental property and you're like set for life. You know what I'm saying? At what point would you say that you can like do this full time and have enough income coming in where you can actually take care of expenses and then also live on your own? I mean, I guess it depends on personally the type of income, but what would you say to a person, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, how many rental properties do I need to live off of? I guess,
I mean, obviously, a lot of that depends on your standard of living, and are you do
Yes.
you have kids? Does your wife or spouse work?
Right.
There's a lot of different things there, but you'll get a feel for it. You'll do 1 or 2 deals, and then you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 units rented out, and that income coming in, and then you can kind of play with the numbers and be like, okay, even if things get bad or if things go up, and then you start saying, okay, this is bringing me, I'm making $900 a month, I'm making $1,000, and whatever you need. How many more of them you're going to need. But again, to figure that out, you're kind of going to have to take action and kind of get information from other investors, how much per door they're making, how many doors you will need. And a lot of that comes down to networking and taking action. So and there's no cut and dry answer for every single.
No, I agree. Do you have and this is just something I'm interested in knowing, is there, when you buy or when you decide to keep a property or not, is there a certain minimum net you're looking at, or what makes you how do you decide to whether you move forward or not on a deal?
I need to see certain numbers definitely for a buy and hold, but my strategy has involved it needs to make sense for me if I'm doing a rehab. It needs to make sense for me to flip if I decide to do that, and also to buy and hold, to hold it.
So you have two exit strategies.
I have two exit strategies, and I need those both, unless I'm just buying something for income, in which case I'm not flipping it, and then it's just a pure buy and hold play. But usually I'm doing rehabs on these properties, and in that case, I want the two exit strategies. And when I'm choosing the exit strategy, basically if I can flip the house for more than 2 years worth of income, and this is just me, I don't know if a lot of people hold by this. So let's say a property brings me $20,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm gonna net, not gross, more than $40,000 by flipping the property, good chance I'll flip it because I know I can turn that money around in less than 2 years, even with taxes and everything like that. That's just my strategy.
Okay.
I found that hard to do. So and I do like the buy and hold better. I do like the tax benefits. So I've been sticking with that for the most part.
Okay. So right now, I know you're probably busy managing properties, managing managers, probably. Believe me, I know. And so I guess the question is, how many, are you actively buying? And if you are, is there certain, do you have a criteria as to I'm trying to buy one per year, or do you just randomly buy and whenever you get a chance?
So a lot of people say to set goals. I want to buy X amount of properties per year.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to fall short because because we're supposed to aim high, and that's fine.
Right.
I personally don't do that. I just have all my networks and all the things that I do to go out and find deals. They're just 24 hours a day. They're working for me, and I'm calling people, and I'm texting people, I'm checking all the sites,
right,
and I'm following up with people that I haven't spoken to in 2 years that I did a deal with 2-3 years ago. And just if a deal makes sense, it makes sense. But I'm at the point where I'm not going to push things anymore because we are kind of high versus when I started. Second of all, historically, we're fairly high.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to push a deal. I need to. So personally, I'm being a little more conservative. But that's me. I can kind of afford to. But if you're trying to break in, you may feel the need to be a little bit more aggressive on your first deal or two, and I totally understand that. But I'm just being, conservative. I'm still picking things up when they make sense. And again, most of those deals are on the rebound. People who know me, they know that I'm a closer, and they'll be like, "Hey, Alan, this thing fell through. What do you think?" And I'll give a yes or no answer. Yes, I'll close. No, we'll do another one. But I stand by my word, yes or no. So that's another thing.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to. I know we were trying to get together and try to do it together, but we ended up doing a Zoom. Not a Zoom. It's a webinar online. So hope to see you next week when we have the meetup. I mean the holiday party. But
I'll be there.
Thank you for taking time. All right. Oh, so how do people get in touch with you? And I know you wrote the book. What's the name of the book?
I got a copy here. It's How Not to Make Money in Real Estate.
Okay, yes.
How
not to make money in real estate. And they can find that book on Amazon, I assume?
That's on Amazon, yeah. And you can find me on Facebook, OG Property Investments. That's OG Property Investments.
Okay.
And I'm on Bigger Pockets under my name, Allan Szlafrok. I'm always happy to chat with people about the industry. This is what I do for fun, is webinars and talking to people.
No, this is why I enjoy these webinars, because you get to meet people, talk about things that not only can help both of us, but to the community as well.
That's right.
And so I'll put your if it's okay, I'll put all of the information, the book, and everything in the show notes.
LinkedIn.
All right, and LinkedIn as well. So I'll put all that information. I know we got that information prior to it. I know my assistant got it from you. So I want to thank you again for showing up and bestowing your wisdom to our community. All right.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.